All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another great episode on your favorite political talk show, The Truth, with Ben Jokes. Breaking news: NYSC cautions core members against negative online posts, urging them to create content that positively reflects both the scheme and Nigeria. And this tweet here says, it is always like that in camps. They will talk about creating positive content even if things aren't going well. That's the kind of country we are in. Even if house they burn, smile for the camera. It is very pathetic asking young people to tell lies about their country. You don't want them to state the real thing that is happening because you don't want things to ever change. Ask core members who had their NYSC in the FCT Abuja. They will tell you there are certain high profile offices. If you are posted there, they will ask you who sent you here. If you cannot mention one big person in Nigeria or a big person in that organization, they will send you away. You can ask anybody. This is the truth, I'm telling you. And you want such a person to go back and still say good things about the country? His own country cannot accept him because he's not connected. What a shame. And this is never going to change until we format. That's why I say we have to format this country. It is either we start again all over as a country or we break into regions. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that one coming from politicians. They are now crying foul, saying that the terrorists and bandits are now after big profile Nigerians. And the masses said, well, that is good for you. And next is that big one coming from ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo. Obasanjo has now blown hot on Tinubu, calling his government a failure. And Obasanjo began to call on the US and other foreign countries to help Nigeria solve this problem of insecurity. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video from Datti. Watch this video.
This declaration of a state of emergency is a joke. Leave it at that. Right. Remember, memory lane. With you and with another TV station, I nearly stopped the swearing in of this government. I don't want that to happen again. Anything that goes wrong, I don't want to have contributed to anything because this government is skating on thin ice. And the ice is so thin you cannot believe it. We're in a precarious situation in this country. Remember, I warned us not to swear in Tinubu Shetima ticket. It nearly stopped it. If not because some of us were very lazy and scared, we could have stopped it. Now, put Shetima and Tinubu aside. I don't want to talk about them. I want to ask three groups of people to please see what they have done. The judiciary, please see what you've done. You have brought in an incompetent government that is incapable of fulfilling their promises. Nigerians, you and I and everyone, Obi Atiku and everybody, see what we have done to ourselves, allowing Tinubu Shetima to ruin our country. The armed forces, see what you've done, that they will come look you in the face and call you bloody fools. I'm not talking about Tinubu Shetima anymore. They are inconsequential because they don't even know what they are talking about.
Wow, you saw that. That was Datti, as fearless as always. And I like the angle that Datti is looking at things from, and this is the angle he has always been looking at it from. When you ask him a question about Nigeria, about the things going on under the Tinubu administration, he never fails to go back to the administration's emergence in the first place. He feels that, or what he is trying to say is that the error began when these people took over office in the first place. So for Datti, it is not about what they are doing, whether it is right or wrong. It is about the fact that people who were not supposed to be in office are in office. And that is the main truth. And he said it is now on the judiciary to see what they have done. Of course, we saw Tinubu's lawyer come out to say that Tinubu should point out the people that are, sponsoring insecurity in Nigeria, that Tinubu cannot claim that he does not know the people. So that is what Yusuf Datti is saying. You can say that, but you were part of those who brought them into power. He also said those of us Nigerians, including himself and Peter Obi and the rest, and Atiku, the opposition, everybody, this is what we have brought upon ourselves. And to a large extent, he is not wrong. If as a people we rose up and said we cannot allow a process that is not transparent to bring in our leaders, then we wouldn't have had it. INEC chairman went all over the world saying he was going to transfer election results from polling unit to IREV. The D-Day came, he did not do it. If the people had said, no, we cannot trust a process that did not follow the laid down rules, then we would not have been where we are today. That is what Yusuf Datti is saying. And then he also said the armed forces, now Wike can look at a naval officer and say you are a big fool because you people are not doing what you are supposed to do. Bold of Datti to make all these claims there. But the truth is, if we don't have Nigerians who can continue to speak up like this, then this country will never be rescued. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that one coming from high-profile politicians now crying that terrorists are after their lives. And next is that big one coming from ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo. Obasanjo has said that this administration has failed totally and that Nigeria must begin to call for help from foreign forces to take care of the issue of insecurity in the country. Let's start by taking that update from northern politicians. Look at how the papers reported it. Bandits are threatening our lives. Please leave our police escorts alone. Northern politicians tell Tinubu. A former deputy speaker of the House of Representatives, Idris Wase, warned that bandits have begun issuing threats to abduct members of the National Assembly, urging Bola Tinubu to reconsider his directive withdrawing police operatives attached to very important personalities. Wase issued the warning during the resumed debate on national security in the lower chamber, noting that lawmakers have become increasingly vulnerable under the new security arrangement. He said Tinubu must clearly spell out the categorization of VIPs, recalling that there had been instances where suspected Boko Haram members infiltrated recruitment lists of security agencies. Well, northern politicians, House of Rep members, senators are now saying the withdrawal of police from them will expose them to bandits. As a matter of fact, this man, Honorable Idris Wase, is saying that they have already started receiving threats from the bandits. It is good. Nigerians have no pity for you. Nigerians want the terrorists to even begin picking you lawmakers. Because on your mandate we shall stand is what you have been singing. When the people complain about insecurity, you sing. When the people complain about the economy, you sing. So keep standing on the mandate. I hope you will be solidly on the mandate when the terrorists will come and whisk you away. And Adekunle here says, all of you will not know peace like common citizens till you start governing right and stop embezzling public funds. That is it. And Iceberg here says, until we all put all this worthless tribalism aside and troop out in numbers to retrieve our nation back from these demons, nothing will ever change. That is what I've been saying. If we don't get our country back, if we don't unite and take this country back, nothing will ever change, especially under the APC, because they were there from the beginning. And these bandits, these terrorists, all these people that are terrorizing Nigeria today were brought into this country by the same people that we are asking to get rid of them. So tell me, how are we going to see light at the end of the tunnel? And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to this, that update from ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo began making the rounds. Let's watch the video.
No matter what religion you belong to, no matter where you come from, no matter what profession, we Nigerians are being killed. And our governments seem to be incapable of protecting us. We are part of the world community. If our government cannot do it, we have right to call on the international community to do for us what our government cannot do for us. And for anybody to say because those who are being killed belong to this region, belong to this religion, belong to this tribe, and then others too are being killed, cannot be an acceptable excuse. Before I left government, I know we had capacity to pick up anybody in Nigeria who commits crime anywhere. The capacity that we didn't have then is after we have identified and located such a criminal, we have no capacity to be able to pick him up without moving on land or by air. Now we have capacity. With drones, you can sneak them up. You can take them out. Why are we not doing that? Why are we apologizing? Why are we negotiating?
You saw that ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo there saying it as it is. He said, if we cannot secure our nation, security of lives and properties is the primary responsibility of every government. And clearly, the Tinubu administration has failed at it in Nigeria. And if we cannot secure our nation, then the best thing to do is to call for foreign help, because Nigeria is part of the international community. Why is the Tinubu administration treating this as if it is a taboo? We all know why. It is because they fear that certain heads will roll if the US steps into this country. And you can say whatever you like about Obasanjo, but Obasanjo remains one of the best presidents ever to govern this country. The man was completely in charge when he was at Aso Rock. And I like the fact that he has come out to speak up, although I feel that he is doing this a little too late. I would have loved it if he attended those meetings that America held when they were talking about genocide in Nigeria. I would have loved it if Obasanjo attended those meetings. Now, Obasanjo is saying the same thing that Peter Obi said 3 days ago, and it became a national issue when some people were trying to change it, that Peter Obi was saying he will be happy for US to come and invade Nigeria. This is the narrative that they keep pushing to unsuspecting Nigerians, to Nigerians that are not wise. Peter Obi said the same thing that Obasanjo said. He never said US should come and invade Nigeria and start taking all of us out. What he said was that the terrorists that are disturbing Nigerians, let US come and take these terrorists out. And anybody who would oppose such a position must be seen as one of the enemies. Because how would you say that the US should not come and help us solve a problem that is clearly beyond us? We are in festive season now. Many people cannot travel to their homes. They haven't seen their loved ones all year, and they still cannot go because of what is happening on Nigerian roads. And this is why I'm saying that the opposition is not doing enough. I expect that the likes of Atiku should be all over the place saying this. They should be re-echoing this thing that Obasanjo has said. They were not even in the US during all those meetings that were held talking about the problems of Nigeria. If high-profile voices had, intervened, because as it stands today, Obasanjo is still a bigger force than even Shetima, than Akpabio. I dare say Tinubu himself. If Tinubu says something about Nigeria and Obasanjo says something about Nigeria, I'm telling you, the weight of those two statements will be very, very similar. If Atiku 2 comes out to say something, it will also carry more weight than what the likes of Ribadu and even Attorney General will be saying. But they were not vocal enough, in my opinion. And that is why sometimes I just wonder if the opposition is actually serious about taking this country away from the APC, because these guys have almost perfected the evil that they want to met out on this country. But luckily for us, all this evil is right there in the public, but we are not challenging it enough. That is just the simple truth. And look at how Nigerians reacted to this statement from Obasanjo. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. Oluwaseun John here says, Agba oni tán lórí ilẹ̀ sà. It is time to reunite. This administration is not only incapable at will, it also lacks morals, character, empathy, and compassion to deliver good governance. You can be a good politician and be a bad leader. That is it. That is 100% true. Because according to Nigerians, they will tell you that Tinubu is a very good politician. He will be described as a good politician. That is how many Nigerians describe him, even though I don't agree with that description. Because you cannot tell me that having the ability to fool people, to deceive people, makes you a good politician, because it is not only in Nigeria that we have politics. So if we look at the best standard, the world best practice when it comes to politics, you will not call Tinubu a good politician. You will instead call someone like Peter Obi a good politician, somebody who left PDP and joined Labour Party months to the election, and he was able to get the most votes. That is who you call a good politician. But Nigeria here, we have perverted everything. And this studio by My Promise says, this is one fact I love about Obasanjo. When he was in military and even now, he is a blunt man. He said it, that Nigeria has the capacity to track anybody and pick them anywhere in Nigeria. Official bat, shame on you for failing this great nation. That is it. Obasanjo calls a spade a spade. As it is in this country, we have the capacity to track anybody and pick them from wherever they are. So if we are not doing so, we need to look ourselves and ask ourselves the honest questions. We have the capacity. The technology available to us in the world today shows that we can pick anybody from anywhere. And apart from even engaging the technology that we have, Lai Mohammed sat on air and said that there is a list in front of him, and that list contains terrorist sponsors in Nigeria, including Bureau de Change and other organizations that are backing them. Have they activated the list today? There is a list in front of Tinubu right now. United Arab Emirates sent the list, sponsors of terrorists in Nigeria. The list is there. I think they said there are about 200 names on it. Have they activated the list? So these are the issues. The political will is missing. It's not about weapons. It's not about saying we want to have collaborations. The issue is, do you have the political will to punish these offenders? You cannot have, because they are high-ranking people within the APC, because they are working with the APC and they were there from the beginning, even before Buhari's emergence. And that is why I keep saying that with these people in power, we will only talk. If we do not act for them to be kicked out, we will never see the back of insecurity in this country. Anyway, make I leave am here. Make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Now I dey here. So don't go away. Don't go away.